Hello and welcome to Two Hopes Garage. My name's Jace, thank you very much for joining us. This was meant to be a Camaro video, but there's been a wee bit of movement in the garage this week involving the Camaro, so no video for that I'm afraid. However, there is one coming. Apologies about that. What we have instead is another delicious W126 video. It's just a wee quick one on the removal of the upper control arm and subsequent inspection. I was wanting to look at the anti-roll bar underneath that to check for corrosion that these are prone to. So so a wee quick look at that. So without any further ado, let's get into the video. Thank you. So one of the jobs I was looking at doing in here is to check out the condition of the anti-roll bar or sway bar underneath these bushings where they go through the upper control arm. The bushings do have quite a lot of fine cracking in there, so I was going to replace them. The control arm, I was thinking of probably keeping that because the ball joint doesn't look too bad if a bit stiff. The bushings at the other end, it's hard to tell. So I think what we're going to do, the only way to get in at the anti-roll bar there and to get these bushings off, I think, is to take that upper control arm off. So I think we've got a 17mm here, and there's a large bolt that runs through the other side of the wheel arch on the inboard end, which I think we'll take off first, and that's going to necessitate a wee trip upstairs. So popping upstairs to the other side of the wheel arch, we can see where the coil spring locates and also where the upper shock mount is. If we go just inboard of there, this nut and bolt here is what locates the upper control arm. So to get to the bolt side of it, we need to take a wee journey in that direction. And this is where things get a wee bit trickier. So on the driver's side, remembering this is a right-hand drive car, we have the brake reservoir with some properly manky old fluid, underneath which you can see where I keep my collection of rare and unusual leafs from the early 1990s. Coming round a bit from there, you can just about make out where I'm tapping with a handy-dandy paintbrush the bolt head for the upper control arm. I think that's a 19mm. So what we'll do next is get some Heath Robinson concoction of tools together and see if we can get this nut and bolt out. Grand. Right, so we've got our 19mm socket on the end of the bolt and a 19mm impact on the windy. Let's see if we can rattle this out quickly. Beautiful. Oh, you gotta love an air tool. There we are. What I have done with that is just soaked the ends in a bit of Croil just to free things off, but yeah, that went well. Brilliant. Let's get it knocked out. See if we can pull that out the rest of the way. Bit of a shuggle. And out it comes in pretty fantastic condition. So we're happy with that. Next up, downstairs, and we'll get the 17 off the end of the anti-roll bar with a bit of luck. So we'll get a big old breaker bar on here, or a big old ratchet. So I'm sure this is going to be reasonably tight. So there we go. Not too bad. Not quite hand tight yet. So the bolt looks in decent nick. Got our washer. I think we'll get this moved and give it a bit of a hit to get it out of there. One bush. Definitely a job for a wee bit of shuggling. So, upper control arm's off. So at the moment, the end of the anti-roll bar doesn't look too bad, but we'll need to give it a clean up. The bush is a wee bit reluctant to come off. There we go. Having been there for 30 odd years by the looks of things. I think we'll give this a wee blast with a needle scaler and see what's underneath. There's definitely a lot of muck. I think some of it is just the rubber bushing. So we'll have a look. At the moment, it mostly smells like rubber's coming off of there. So I'm hoping it's not too rusty underneath all that. So let's have a wee bit of an inspection of the components that have come off. Now these I was going to replace. They've got quite a bit of fine cracking in them. For the age they're actually not bad, but they're going. You can see there's the original Mercedes mark in there and a 116 part number. So I think that's the original bushes from 91. So they're going. The control arm itself, the ball joint, I thought the boot was in decent nick. However, there are a couple of splits there. I think that's probably happened whilst I've been splitting the spindle from the ball joint. That's obviously not going to get any better with age, so that needs to go. And as it's not a removable, replaceable assembly, it's the whole arm that's going to need to get replaced. And the ball joint is actually exceptionally stiff. There's a bit of wear to the aluminium where the bushes sit. Not terrible, but it's definitely worn. And as for the bushes at the end, they're actually in pretty good condition. There is some fine cracking around the circumference there. You can see it there perhaps. And the rubber's maybe a bit hard. So I think we'll get these arms replaced. Whether I'm going to replace them with a Lemforder, or I have been using Febi on a lot of the parts, and they've been good. The Lemforder stuff, the ball joints I got the last time, which I still haven't fitted. The bottom ball joints, I've got to say, I was not impressed with the quality of the Lemforder bits. And I don't think they were made in Germany. I'm trying to remember now. I'm going to say they were made in China. I could be wrong. I'll put it up here where they were made. Yeah, wasn't over impressed with the Lemforder ball joints. So we'll see. However, these will get replaced. So I think we'll have a wee look at the end of the anti-roll bar to see how much corrosion's on that. So I've had a wee clean up at the end of the anti-roll bar, and as you can see, it has been subject to a fair bit of pitting. The corrosion's just sort of eaten away at it a bit there. The lighting actually makes it look quite a bit worse than it actually is. I'm thinking for myself that it's just about on the edge of where it would be to repair it with one of the weld-on repair sections that you can get for it. Yeah, at the moment I'm thinking I'm going to go for it. I'm going to say it's a tentative. I'm going to roll with that. Obviously, if I do keep it, get it plastered up in some anti-corrosive treatment and get a bit of paint on there. But yeah, definitely worth checking. And I'm actually going to take some of that paint off the end there and just check the end of that as well. But I think if it was any worse than that, definitely subject to a repair section. At the moment, I think there's a sufficient amount of material there for that still to be just about in safety. However, we might go for a repair section yet. we'll see.
So that's that. We'll get some parts ordered up for the Mercedes, and hopefully at some point soon we'll start rebuilding it, or at least the side I've been filming. I've not touched the left-hand side yet, but don't worry about that. That'll be done off camera and much quicker than the other side, hopefully. Next up is probably going to be a Camaro video. I think perhaps I've missed the boat for a springtime sale on this, but we'll see. So to that end, I'll probably enjoy it this year and maybe put it up next year. I'm quite undecided on what's happening with this. So anyway, thank you very much for joining us. I'll put a W126 front suspension video up here-ish, and something else amazing down there. Thanks once again. Thanks to all the new subscribers, and thanks again to the old subscribers for bearing with me. Hope to see you again soon. Cheers. Thank you.